I'm not entirely sure that all the people who've worked for Meghan would be saying she was charming, given that they've got through PRs the way most of us get through socks. But that's as may be. I mean, I don't think we're going to know for some time as to what's happened there. So there's an awful lot of NDAs going around. I think Harry is very good at public events. I think that he has a much more easy charm than a lot of his family do. But of course, what we don't know is what basis they're coming back on, because they're not working royals anymore. They're not coming back to be working royals. They were explicitly told they could never be a sort of half in, half out. So they're in this very strange position that they're coming back as private citizens, presumably to live in the Cotswolds or somewhere like that, but with an extraordinary amount of interest in their every move. And essentially, I mean, we've seen over the last few years, they've been conducting these quasi-royal tours. They will presumably, every single time they do anything in this country, pop out to buy a pint of milk, it will be reported with great interest as to what they're wearing or what kind of milk it is or so on. It's going to be absolutely exhausting because they are going to be celebrities of the highest A-list caliber. And you're just thinking, is it going to be that interesting in a couple of years? We shall see.
Well, the biggest news of the week is Harry and Meghan announcing their return to the UK along with their children. I know that sometimes radio listeners think it's not big news, but it is. It's not been confirmed why they have made this decision, though Meghan is widely reported to be in talks for a role in the Netflix series The Gentleman. I suspect that rumour is not unadjacent to the fact that Series 2 lands next week. Where will they live? Could we be set for some public feuding with William and Kate? What about their security? It's emerged that the Royal and VIP Executive Committee, or RAVEC, are planning to review Prince Harry's claim for this to be covered by the taxpayer. He now has just 7 days as well to pay his share of an initial £9.5 million in legal costs for his failed privacy case against the publisher of the Daily Mail. So there's a lot going on. Let's talk to the historian and royal commentator Alexander Larman, who joins me now. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Ed. How's it going your way?
It's going really well, but tell us, how is it landing, the Harry and Meghan show returning? There's so much to unpack here, but what are your initial thoughts?
Well, I have to be quite honest. When I first heard about it on Wednesday evening, I thought it was an April Fool joke, but we're a very long way from April Fools, because ever since they left the country in 2020, we've had an awful lot of bridge burning, not to put too fine a point on it. And Harry saying over and over again that he can't return to Britain with his family, it's not safe, that Meghan is not wanted in the country, that we've all been horrible to her, blah, blah, blah. I mean, all of a sudden, there's this extraordinary announcement out of the blue Wednesday night saying they're coming back. And at first I thought it was not very likely. I thought this was just a rogue story, but then it was confirmed. And you think, OK, this is fairly extraordinary, because what they've done, which I find really odd and quite unique, is they have slagged off Britain over and over and over again. They have done so many things, like Harry publishing his memoir, the Netflix series, the Oprah Winfrey interview, an awful lot of public statements that have been designed to estrange themselves from their family. And of course, Harry and his elder brother William are very much estranged. So it's very much the cat amongst the pigeons and then some. And I think that what's going to happen over the coming weeks, months, and indeed years will be fascinating, because it's a circus, isn't it? I mean, they're not going to come back and have a quiet, uneventful private life. It is a massive, massive circus. I mean, you've just listed several things going on.
Absolutely.
Even if the thing about the Gentleman Series 3 is complete balderdash, which I think it probably is, and was designed by Netflix to stir up a bit of publicity for the second series, this is what we're going to see week in, week out when they're back, because they've been fairly consistent presences in the media over the last few years in Montecito, but I think as soon as they get back here, it's just going to get more and more intense, isn't it?
I agree with you, and I think what is so interesting is in a globalised world of instant communication, the fact that they are in California does provide some distance. And one bit, and this is a soap opera point, but I think it is relevant, one bit I don't think I've appreciated enough about Meghan's return is it sets up a constant comparison from now on with Kate. How will that play out? Whichever kind of event Meghan goes to will be immediately contrasted with an event Kate goes to. There'll be a subtext reading, Kate went to this event in order to contrast with Meghan XYZ event, and so on and so forth.
Yes, obviously we had a bit of that the last time in sort of 2018, 2019. But of course, what you must bear in mind is that when they were last here, it was a much more benevolent setup than it's going to be, because ultimately, until Megxit in 2020, yes, there was sniping in the press, and yes, there was racism and all the rest of it on social media, but there was no real sense they were unpopular. They are not coming back to Britain as a popular, much-loved family. It would be a lot like if the Duke of Windsor and Wallis Simpson had returned to Britain shortly after the beginning of the reign of Elizabeth II. And there would have been a sense back then, just as there's a sense now, that they are not welcome because William loathes Harry. He thinks he's betrayed the family. And actually, Charles is much more amenable. He's happy to let sleeping dogs lie, but I don't think William is. So we're going to watch this enormous Dynasty-esque soap opera unfolding. We're going to see the fallout from Harry's failed legal case against the Daily Mail. And also, just judging by the headlines today, the Mail are going to be on his case for the rest of his life. I mean, they have, skin in the game now. I mean, even more than usual. So it's going to be massive. And I mean, part of me, somebody who writes about this quite a lot, is thinking, how much more is there to say? Because there's just going to be endless stories. It's going to be exhausting, I think.
I mean, I call it a soap opera. People resent us talking about it because it's sort of part of sort of celebrity culture. But you say they're unpopular. They are both, I suspect, charming people. Do you think they can turn it around in terms of public opinion?
I'm not entirely sure that all the people who have worked for Meghan would be saying she was charming, given that they've got through PRs the way most of us get through socks. But that's as may be. I mean, I don't think we're going to know for some time as to what's happened there. So there's an awful lot of NDAs going around. I think Harry is very good at public events. I think that he has a much more easy charm than a lot of his family do. But of course, what we don't know is what basis they're coming back on, because they're not working royals anymore. They're not coming back to be working royals. They were explicitly told they could never be a sort of half in, half out. So they're in this very strange position that they're coming back as private citizens, presumably to live in the Cotswolds or somewhere like that, but with an extraordinary amount of interest in their every move. And essentially, I mean, we've seen over the last few years, they've been conducting these quasi-royal tours. They will presumably, every single time they do anything in this country, pop out to buy a pint of milk, it will be reported with great interest as to what they're wearing or what kind of milk it is or so on. It's going to be absolutely exhausting because they are going to be celebrities of the highest A-list caliber. And you're just thinking, is it going to be that interesting in a couple of years? We shall see.
We shall see. And I think, the people who complain that we are talking about it, they have a point. Of course they do. But I think Beck sums it up. People want to hear about Harry and Meghan. Harry's book, Spare, is the biggest selling autobiography in the UK, 3.2 million copies. If people aren't interested, who bought it? And I think that is a fair point, however much we might say that we're sort of serious people and we don't want to discuss trivial aspects like this. The fact is they are on the front page of every newspaper today, and as Bex points out, Harry sold millions of copies of his autobiography. Anyway, that's the historian and royal commentator Alexander Larman. Thank you so much for joining us.